Tonight, the mailing facility of suspicious packages may be found.
An Oswego State student creates a resource to help educators better understand dyslexia.
And Governor Cuomo speaks on suspicious packages.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Seth Prefertil.
And I'm Madison Donor.
Authorities investigating the pipe bombs sent to Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and CNN headquarters are focusing their attention on southern Florida as the location from which the bombs were mailed. According to the New York Times, all of the packages were labeled with a return address to Florida Democrat Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
An analysis of the information collected by the United States Postal Service revealed the packages were mailed and processed from Florida state postal facilities. Investigators in New York, Washington, Florida, and Los Angeles have come together to investigate. The bombs have not caused any injuries but have sent massive shockwaves throughout news and media platforms.
Officials are scrambling to find any additional clues that could lead them to a suspect. Karen Kafa is in New York with the latest.
I can say with certainty that we will identify and arrest a person or people responsible for these acts.
A nationwide manhunt is underway to track down who is responsible for sending several pipe bombs over the last few days. Early Thursday, a suspicious device was recovered in New York addressed to actor Robert De Niro. And authorities discovered two packages like the others in Delaware addressed to former Vice President Joe Biden. The devices recovered are similar to those sent this week to several prominent Democrats, including former President Barack Obama and Bill and Hillary Clinton, as well as to former CIA Director John Brennan at CNN's office at the Time Warner Center building in New York, which prompted an evacuation.
Any device could be considered potentially dangerous and treated as such until proven otherwise. We continue to advise the American public to remain vigilant, as it does remain possible further packages have been or could be mailed.
Several of the targets have been vocal critics of the current administration.
We all can be a part of solving the bigger situation that we're facing as a society, as a nation. A tone of civility, a tone of mutual respect is something we all can create.
The FBI's Counterterrorism Division is leading the investigation, and President Trump has promised to provide whatever federal resources are necessary. In New York, I'm Karen Kafa.
The FBI continues to warn for future packages in the future.
SUNY Oswego has been recognized by the Princeton Review as one of the nation's most environmentally responsible colleges. A press release from the college says it was chosen for its Green Guide, which is based on data concerning the school's commitment to the environment and sustainability. Editor-in-Chief Robert Frank says 63% of applicants and parents' decision to attend college is influenced by the college's commitment to the environment. The company outlines recent construction, the Rice Creek Field Station, and achieving LEED Gold certification.
A SUNY Oswego student took advantage of a class project as an opportunity to help faculty and administrators better understand dyslexia. As a dyslexic herself, senior broadcasting major Aurel Vernon created a book written the way she would actually write things. The book shows how Vernon's unedited works would look, while providing the reader with an idea of the effort needed for people with dyslexia to edit their work. Vernon said she wanted to provide a first-hand experience of what people with learning disabilities face. She hopes her story will encourage others.
A teenager was critically injured after a crash in the town of Clay Wednesday night has been identified. Sergeant John Sieber with the Onondaga County Sheriff's Office identified the teenager as 14-year-old Cindy Pills of Clay. Officials say she was taken to Upstate University Hospital with life-threatening injuries. The driver of the sedan and a passenger were not hurt in the crash.
DeWitt police are asking for the public's assistance in identifying two women accused of stealing nearly $5,000 worth of merchandise from Ulta Beauty. The theft occurred on Wednesday, October 24th at 7:30 p.m. at the Ulta on Erie Boulevard. If you have any information on the identity of the women, email police at tips@townofdewitt.com.
Governor Cuomo held a briefing with Mayor de Blasio and the NYPD. He answered questions on the suspicious packages sent to offices and residents across the country. Cuomo says we should not be alarmed with a larger police presence on subways, on the streets, and at crossings.
Amber Washburn, 24, and Joshua Niles, 28, were victims of Monday's night double homicide in Sodus. The obituary released today states the couple entered eternal rest holding hands as they did in life. It's the Times Wayne County say Washburn's 5-year-old son was in the car with her during the shooting but was uninjured. Wayne County investigators have scaled back an intense search for whoever has killed Washburn and Niles. They have not made any arrests.
Coming up later tonight, the caravan continues to make its way north.
And an airstrike in Yemen.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Kayla Wheeler. Kayla, how's it looking?
Thanks, guys. Chilly day here in Oswego with the lake keeping us warm. Temperatures currently around 43 degrees, cooling down in the surrounding areas with temperatures dropping into the low 30s. Now, with the higher temperatures also comes with some faster winds. 13 miles per hour, pretty breezy around here in Oswego, slowing down as you move away from the lake. Now for the rest of tonight, we'll be cooling down to 33 degrees with winds coming out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now keep watching for my forecast after the break. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Hey, good morning, James.
Morning.
James, wake up. It's Rise and Shine time. James, Rise and Shine. James, wake up. We're starting the show.
Good morning and welcome back to Rise and Shine at 9. I'm James Gattato here with your next update.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 68. I'm Jamie Murray. My niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/science.
If you think trains will stop if they see a car on the tracks, you're right. They will. About a mile after they hit you. Stop. Trains can't.
Welcome back from the break. I'm your Storm Team 10 meteorologist, Kayla Wheeler, taking a look at things outside in Fulton, 39 degrees and cloudy with winds around 5 miles per hour coming out of the southwest. Heading south to Syracuse, cooling down to 38 degrees, winds staying about the same, 8 miles per hour coming out of the southwest. Now for the rest of the region, 44 degrees here in Oswego, staying warm because of the lake. Temperatures staying about in the mid-30s all the way up into the mid-40s. But when you zoom out to the rest of New York, you can see temperatures, the range increases anywhere from the low 30s, like up in Tupper Lake, and down and all the way up to around 40 degrees in Rochester. Now, here in Oswego, we're only going to get down to about 37 degrees, but as you can see in around northern New York, we're going to get down to 28 degrees like in Harrisburg and Lowville. For the future cast for tonight, clouds moving in on around 1:30 a.m. and then into Friday morning's commute around 8 a.m. We're going to be seeing just some rain up to the north staying on the lake. However, nothing much in the means of rain down by us. Friday looking like a cloudy day or around 5:30 p.m. Nothing much in that commute as far as rain. However, you will be seeing lots of clouds. Now, Saturday morning we start to see things creeping up. Friday night's like going to be the night to go out if you want, because there's not going to be much in the means of rain. But into Saturday we'll start to see this rain coming up. 10 a.m. nothing, pretty much staying in southern tier of New York, moving up. We're going to start to see this system of rain around 2:30 p.m. and it's going to continue out for the rest of Saturday. Now, how much rain is this going to bring? So up until about Saturday evening, night, we're only going to see around half an inch to maybe a little bit of an inch. But as you can see for the rest, it will be probably getting higher, as you can see from the south. Now for tonight, low of 33 degrees, cloudy, winds coming out of the northwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Again, cloudy tomorrow, high of 47. And as you can guess, for tomorrow night, cloudy again. However, the temperatures will warm up to around 50 degrees. Now, for the rest of the 7 days, for this weekend, rainy, 48 on Saturday and 47 on Sunday, and into Monday, some more rain. And then on Wednesday, Halloween, looking rainy so far, but we'll see how that goes as we get closer to the date. That's it for my forecast. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter, male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers, we have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
And welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. President Trump met with CIA Director Gina Haspel earlier today to be briefed on what she has learned about the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The details of the briefing have not yet been released, but it has been reported Haspel heard audio recordings during her investigation in Turkey. The recordings are believed to have audio of Khashoggi's interrogation and murder. The U.S. will revoke 21 Saudi visas of those suspected to be connected to Khashoggi's death. President Trump has not yet made a final determination on the case.
It could be a case of the unstoppable force heading toward an immovable wall. The number of migrants marching toward north the U.S. is growing, and Trump, the White House, vows to keep them out. John Lornick reports.
More than 7,000 migrants keep pushing north toward the U.S., fighting fatigue during the day, sleeping on the ground at night. They say they hope for a better future.
There isn't any work here, she says. We have nothing to live on.
Brian Covedreles spent most of his life in Texas until he was deported to Honduras a few weeks ago. He's walking back to reunite with his 3-year-old daughter.
She's the one who actually needs me the most, so, and I don't want her to grow without me.
The caravan is over 1,000 miles away from the U.S., and things could get more difficult if they reach the border.
Wait till you see what happens over the next couple of weeks. You're going to see a very secure border. You just watch. Just watch. Very secure. And the military is ready.
Mr. Trump is not the only one talking tough about the migrants. Republican House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy told North Dakota radio station WZFG that the caravans might be politically motivated. And as U.S. officials engage in talks with Mexico about how to handle the upcoming situation, a second caravan, made up of about 2,000 people, is also trekking toward the U.S. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Mexican immigration officials have started to process asylum requests for nearly 3,000 Central Americans. A few hundred others have voluntarily agreed to head back to their home country.
Megyn Kelly's time with NBC News appears to be coming to an end. The talk show host has been negotiating her exit from the news division with network executives. Kelly's departure has not yet been made official, but sources say an announcement will likely be made in the coming days. Sources also say Kelly will not be returning to her morning show, Megyn Kelly Today. Kelly left Fox News in January 2017 to join NBC after signing a 3-year contract.
Bishop Martin Holley of Memphis, Tennessee, has been removed from the diocese. A Vatican spokesperson reports Holley was not removed because of the church's ongoing clergy sex abuse scandal, and that is not abuse related. It is about management of the diocese. The Diocese of Memphis says there have been several efforts to restore peace and serenity, which have apparently failed. Archbishop Joseph Kurtz of Louisville will run the diocese in Holley's absence.
An Ohio neighborhood is in shock to hear a sex offender was living in their neighborhood. The man was recently arrested after trying to grab a 10-year-old girl, and that arrest shed some light on the suspect's past and a loophole that prevented people from knowing about it. Glenn McIntyre has more.
It's something no child should experience.
My granddaughter was just attacked by a grown man in a car, and her lip is bleeding, and her hand is bleeding, and she fought him.
A 10-year-old girl grabbed in the street near her Circleville home. As she'd been taught by her grandmother, the girl fought off the stranger.
He put his fingers in her mouth, so she bit his fingers. She bit really hard on his fingers. She's got a bruise on her hand where she was hitting on him.
Witness accounts led police to 24-year-old William Weaver, who was arrested that night. Court records obtained by 10 TV show Weaver was accused of sexually assaulting 2 girls 10 years ago, one of them 5 years old, one 6. Weaver was 14 at the time and convicted of 1 count of rape. He served time in a juvenile facility and in 2010 was required to register for life as a sex offender. But because of his age, there was no requirement to notify the public. Lieutenant James Brown oversees sex offender registration for the Pickaway County Sheriff's Office.
There's links on every sheriff's office's website. You can put in your address. You can search a mile radius, a 5-mile radius to see where offenders may live. Additionally, you can sign up for email notification. It'll let you know when an offender moves into your area. The purpose is to let people in communities know that there's sex offenders in their area.
That community notification does not apply to all offenders.
It does not.
Tell me about that.
Essentially, especially juvenile offenders, the court has discretion, and there's a great criteria that they have to meet in order to deem the juvenile offender at the time community notification. Their information is blinded from the public. It's not. It's basically for law enforcement purposes.
William Weaver's neighbors were startled to hear of his history.
Not even know that he was right around the corner.
And to learn they don't have the right to know.
Is that something you would want to know?
I'd want to know, yeah. Like I said, when my grandkids come up here, I want them safe.
If knowledge is power, Brown says it's important to be aware the system has limits.
We're doing the best we can do with what we're allowed to do. If you suspect, if you think something's not right, don't ever hesitate to call.
Glenn McIntyre, 10 TV News.
Lieutenant James Brown says to contact the sheriff's office if you see any suspicious activity. At least 17 people are dead after severe flash floods hit near the Dead Sea in Jordan. The majority of the victims were in a school bus that was washed away. The bus was carrying over 40 people at the time of the flooding. Other victims either killed or injured from the flooding include people picnicking at a popular tourist spot. A large rescue operation is now underway, with Israeli military offering help upon request. At least 34 people have been rescued so far, with some listed in serious condition.
On Wednesday, there was an airstrike at a vegetable market in Yemen. At least 19 civilians were killed and 10 others injured. The market was in the city of Yemen's Hodeidah province. 8 of the injured are reportedly in critical condition. A Saudi-led coalition that intervened in Yemen's civil war in 2015 has conducted frequent airstrikes targeting the Iran-aligned Houthi group and has often hit civilians, although it denies doing so intentionally, according to Reuters.
Coming up in sports, John Purdick. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Welcome to Understood.org, a free online resource for parents of kids with learning and attention issues, with personalized recommendations, tools, and daily access to experts to help your child thrive. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Guys, I don't feel so good. Shouldn't have had that chili for lunch.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach reemployment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to WTOP. I'm your sports anchor, John Purdick. Let's get right into it. Yesterday, the Oswego State women's volleyball team grabbed a 3-0 sweep of Wells College on the road. The victory was led by middle hitter pair of Ava Sullivan and Lauren Fye, combining for 18 kills and 10 blocks. The team started off from behind in the beginning of every set, but came back at the end of each. In the third set, both teams were tied at 7-7 until Skylar Beckard scored an ace, and from there the team never looked back. The Lady Lakers hit the road Saturday to play SUNY Polytechnic in Alfred College. The Oswego State hockey team hosts their last exhibition game this Saturday against the Carleton Pace Canadians at 7 p.m. The Lakers are ranked number 10 on the USCHO poll. They are only one of 2 teams in SUNY on this prestigious poll. Carleton Pace is a member of the Canadian Central Hockey League and have won 4 league titles since their inception in 2009. This game will be one of many events on the campus for Family and Friends Weekend at Oswego. Definitely not something to miss. In professional sports, the New York Football Giants have officially indicated signs of a rebuild for the 2019 season 7 weeks into this year's season. The team lost on Monday to the Atlanta Falcons in a 23-20 outing. Later in the week, on Tuesday, the G-men traded their first-round corner Eli Apple to the New Orleans Saints in exchange for a 4th-round pick. Then, on Wednesday, they trade defensive tackle Damon Harrison to the Detroit Lions for a 2019 5th-round pick. It's currently anarchy for New York Giants fans. Moving on to basketball, the New York Knicks faced up against the Miami Heat on the road last night. The Knicks lost 110-87, trying to increase their record to 2-3. Knicks backup shooting guard Damian Dotson led the team in scoring in the game with a solid 20-point outing. The Heat pulled away in the third quarter, outscoring the Knicks 45-20, giving Miami the momentum down the stretch. With Kristaps Porzingis still nursing an injury, Knicks are hanging on by a string to stay at the top teams. Now, we're going to go over how the game went down. Here are the highlights from the game. First quarter, the Knicks go on a fast break. Frank Ntilikina comes down the lane and dunks it home and puts an emphasis on the jam. End of the first quarter, clock running low. Alonzo Trier spinning down and dribbling on the glass. 2:56 seconds left in the first half. Lance Thomas kicks it to Trey Burke, who's crossing up Goran Dragic, then deals it back to Thomas for a three-ball and hits the shot. 1:32 left in the first half. Dragic swings the ball on the fast break, and Frank Ntilikina yams it down. On the shot, start of the first half, Miami is, all right. First quarter, clock running down, Alonzo Trainer dribbles and hits the shot, a tough layup. He then swings it to Gary Payton on the swing. Then, later in the second quarter, Dragic passes it to Richardson, and then he gives it to Wade, and then gives it to Whiteside on the slam. Heat up by 10, Dragic kicks the ball to Richardson again for another tray ball. Miami's starting to distance themselves at this point. Richardson pulls up for the three and bangs it at the end of the third quarter. 8:12 left in the third. Rodney McGruder uses a screen, then drives into lobbing it up to Harrison Whiteside for an emphatic jam. This gives the Heat the edge against the Knicks.
Well, basketball season in full swing now. Not the ideal start for the Knicks.
Right, not really. They're only 1-4 at this point.
What do we got going on in weather, Kayla?
Well, looking like a rainy weekend, so I wouldn't recommend doing too much this weekend. Maybe laying low, making a nice cup of hot cocoa. It's not going to be too cold, but I personally feel like it's going to be cold enough to make that. But for Halloween so far, looking like it might be rainy, so.
Yeah. Spooky season, though. A lot of people are going to be out there tonight.
Hoping those trick-or-treaters bring their umbrellas.
Oh, that's crucial for our Halloween.
The rain's
so
putting a damp on our weekend, on Halloween weekend.
It always seems to rain on Halloween for some reason.
It did last
year. At least when I was a child. I could never really enjoy the experience because it's always raining
every year.
But anyway, that's our report for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned for some of our OPs. Thanks for watching, and have a great night, everyone.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.